All right. Manny Pacquiao talking big smack to Keith Thurman in a polite way in response to people thinking that he's too old to beat Keith Thurman. Also, the pay-per-view card for that fight is very, very good. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, thank you to everybody that has joined the Patreon. It is Finance, Business, and Politics on Patreon. And the new members, thank you so much. Also, thank you to everybody that supports the boxing channel through Venmo, through the super chats and the live streams and watching the videos. Your support is much appreciated. Let's get into Manny Pacquiao being a little bit in his feelings because people think he's old. Hey, it is what it is, but Manny Pacquiao, or not necessarily Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao says he's going to teach Keith Thurman a lesson, and Freddie Roach says that Keith Thurman is going to get in there with Manny Pacquiao, who's got decades of experience with Hall of Fame fighters, and that Manny Pacquiao says Keith Thurman is going to walk out of the fight with Manny Pacquiao says that Keith Thurman is going to walk out of that fight very disappointed, and that although he definitely feels older, that he's never trained harder for a camp, and all of those really motivational fight comments that you get throughout the history of boxing whenever it is that an older guy gets in the ring and everybody realizes he's 40 and people doubt how long he can keep going. Now, I had to say it. He's 40, and the only prediction that I have for this fight, or the only caveat that I had for this fight, was that I cannot bet my money on a guy that's over 40 beating somebody that is 30, that is bigger than them, that is probably faster than them, that is more hungry than them, even though, Keith Thurman being more hungry, I don't know. But by a fraction of a hair, he's probably hungrier than Manny Pacquiao. And he's been watching Manny Pacquiao for a very long time, knows Manny Pacquiao's tendencies. And this has been a fight that he's been aiming and trying to get for years. Now, if these guys were both in their primes, if they were both, if Manny Pacquiao was 30, the Manny Pacquiao was fighting when he was 30, and Keith Thurman was, the guy that he is now, or the guy that he was when he was 28, I would say, oh man, this is looking like I'm leaning towards Manny Pacquiao. Because there's a lot of things about Manny Pacquiao's style. There's a lot of things about Manny Pacquiao that are very awkward and very difficult. And what Manny Pacquiao said about, or Freddie Roach said about his decades of experience with Hall of Fame fighters, that's true. That's true. And if these guys were both in their physical prime, I would lean probably 60-40 in Manny Pacquiao's favor, because I have that much respect for Manny Pacquiao. But what you Manny Pacquiao fans from the Philippines have to understand is that you guys do not live in a black hole where time ceases to move. And it is not an insult to Manny Pacquiao's character, or it's not an insult to the national pride of the Philippines to point that out. That's just the facts. That is not me being biased in hating Manny Pacquiao. I have many, many videos on this channel supporting Manny Pacquiao. I would continue to support Manny Pacquiao where I believe that Manny Pacquiao deserves the benefit of the doubt, deserves the support. I supported Manny Pacquiao through when he left Top Rank and the things that were going on between Manny Pacquiao and his rematch with Jeff Horn. Although I said, and I still maintain, that I respect the judges. I try, unless it is something that is just so wrong and so blatantly out there, I try to support and I try to give credit to the judge's decision. Because if it went another way, like when Manny Pacquiao versus Juan Manuel Marquez 2 and Manny Pacquiao versus Juan Manuel Marquez 3. I believe that Juan Manuel Marquez won the fights. But I was not going to be all out there getting overdoing it, claiming robbery, doing all that stuff, because that would be unfair to Juan Manuel Marquez if Juan Manuel Marquez had won the fight. I did that same thing for Jeff Horn in that fight. I gave Jeff Horn credit for getting the decision. He did enough to get the decision, obviously, in the eyes of the people that matter. I'm not going to live in la la land where my opinion magically changes what's put out on Fight Facts or the commercial channel that most people get their fight records from, Box Rec. I try to stick with what and respect what the judges said. But that said, when the rematch clause was being negotiated, and Bob Arum and Jeff Horn were trying to manhandle Manny Pacquiao into going back to Australia to run it back, and Manny Pacquiao said, no, we need this fight to be either in the Philippines or we need to be in the United States. I'm not going back to Australia. I supported Manny Pacquiao in that because Manny Pacquiao had the right to have that next fight be somewhere where he felt it was comfortable and not have Bob Arum, basically use this dude's, what was left of he believed was the rest of Manny Pacquiao's career, to build a new fighter that he would then be able to sell and manipulate titles for and do all that for the next several years, and that being Jeff Horn. So I've been a supporter of Manny Pacquiao. Many times I've been a supporter of Manny Pacquiao. That is not saying that I have to overlook what I see. What I see is a Manny Pacquiao who has had one knockout since he stopped Miguel Cotto by TKO. That was against Lucas Matisse. Lucas Matisse, who also had been knocked out by probably the last high quality fighter that he had been in the ring with, that being, oh, here comes ESPN, that being Danny Garcia. So look, I believe that was a knockout with Danny Garcia. I believe Danny Garcia knocked him out. Somebody correct me in the comment section. I forget sometimes who the people were that Danny Garcia knocked out at 140 pounds, but he definitely lost to Danny Garcia. But Manny Pacquiao gets the stoppage of Lucas Matisse in a fight over in, I believe that fight was in Malaysia. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that, and you can correct me in the comment section. But that was the only knockout he's had since then. So I have a hard time believing that he's going to come in there and knock out Keith Thurman. If he's not going to knock out Keith Thurman, then he's going to be following around a guy that has very, very good who has a lot of movement. I won't say great footwork, but a lot of movement, but who does fade in the second half of the fight. But I don't know if that means Manny Pacquiao at 40 is going to be able to keep that same pace up through 12 rounds. Anyway, the only caveat that I had about it is that I'm not going to bet my money on Manny Pacquiao. I think that if I didn't watch a pay-per-view, which I will, because what a pay-per-view. I get to see on that pay-per-view, I get to see Luis Nery, who I like. I don't mind seeing, I think, a good fight between John Molina and Sergey Lipinets. And then the fight that I would be watching regardless of what channel it was going to be on. That is Omar Figueroa versus Yordenis Ugas. I'm really looking forward to that fight. Yordenis Ugas in large parts is a counterpuncher. Omar Figueroa is an all action, all go type of fighter. So Yordenis Ugas is going to have chances to counterpunch and is going to land some on Figueroa. But Figueroa's inside body attack and game, man, I'm looking forward to that. I do lean towards favoring Yordenis Ugas in that fight. But honestly, man, even though, I rock with my Cubans, Omar Figueroa is one of my favorite fighters to watch. Omar Figueroa is his younger brother, Brandon Figueroa, I believe his name is. I've seen a couple of his fights. He brings that same style. Man, one of my favorite fights of two, I believe was in 2017, was Omar Figueroa versus Robert the Ghost Guerrero, man, in one, I think Robert Ghost Guerrero might have come back and fought since then, but at that time he had retired. The Ghost had retired. But excellent fighter. That's why I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view, to pay for the pay-per-view as much as the Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman fight. But the Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman fight, look, man, if Manny Pacquiao woke up, if he won the fight, I wouldn't be surprised. I was just leaning towards Keith Thurman because of the age, because I don't feel safe betting on somebody that's over 40 years old. And his age is a fact, man. It's not my opinion. It's not some label I'm putting on him that he doesn't deserve. Anyway, I only say that because there's so many people saying, I'm going to come back to your channel and say something to you after this fight, because because I dare to repeat that Errol Spence says that Keith Thurman might knock him out. But anyway, it's a lot of fun talking this boxing. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And again, thank you to the people that subscribe to the Patreon. You know what we're talking about over there. And with that, I'm out. Peace.